Good morning and welcome everyone to our morning worship. This morning, I think that it is something that we always pray to God that we would like God to help us to deliver us from evil. Personally, I think my life also I was very struggle because of my laziness, because of my emotion, because of I'm more tempt to listen to myself more than listen to the truth of God. So this morning, our sinful life, we would like to ask God to help us to deliver us from this evil things that we still always defeated because of the nature inside our life. So in the Bible, there is a beautiful story that I would like to share with you this morning. And why not we read together in the 1 Samuel chapter 25 and then verse 32 and then verse 33. Let's read together. In 1 Samuel verse 25-32 said, David said to Abigail, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands." So this is a record about the word of King David, that he said a grateful word to Abigail because she remind him what is evil things that David is about to kill lots of people. This story happened when there's a time when King David had to escape from King Saul, and at the same time he had to stay in the wilderness. And there was a man, his name is Nabal, a wealthy farmer. Actually his name quite very word meaning. The meaning of Nabal's mean foolish or reckless, and he is the husband of Abigail. Nabal's servants were taking care of the flock of sheep. The Bible says that this man very rich because he owned about 4,000-5,000 flock of sheep and goats. And it is a time when the servant of King David also they was in the same area. And actually the servants of King David treated the servants of Nabal's well. With they treated with kindness and courtesy, and stole nothing from them. They acted as Nabal's protectors from bandits and also desert marauders. Then after some time, King David sent 10 young men to Nabal at a festive time to ask for life-sustaining supplies. You know, in those days, King David also had many people who follow him, and then he need food supply to feed with all of the soldiers of King David that follow him. But then what happened? Rather than helping King David, Nabal stupidly demanded, "Who is King David? I don't know him. Should I share with portions of food, meat, and water to someone that I don't know?" So this is the reply of Nabal, the stupid man. David and his men had actually performed a greatly needed service in such a troubled times. Nabal and everyone else in Israel knew about David and his problems, but still, the wealthy man, he didn't want to help. Nabal was a harsh, selfish, and also very rude man. When David received the report, his was full of anger. No one will treat the future king of Israel this way. This is probably the ways of thinking of King David. So suddenly King David, he gathered together all of the soldiers, all of the men under his authority, and now they are heading toward the house of Naboth. But before they will destroy the house of Naboth, during while they're still on the way, there was a servant gave a report to Abigail the whole story, and immediately, with her good judgment, she was very clever woman. Suddenly, she tried to solve this problem by herself. She loaded up plenty of food on the donkey's back without telling her husband, and started toward the mountain where David was, where David uh, has camped. On the way, she met King David and then his men on their way to slaughter every male in Nabal's household. She is clever, and then with her diplomatic approach brought David to his senses. Actually, the word of Abigail remind King David to realize about his anger. Why not we read once more time in one more time with the Bible text that Abigail met King David. So in this text said, David said to Abigail, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands." So it is a beautiful confession, right? When we read about the confession of King David about what he is about to kill people, and it will be the bloodshed day if Abigail will not met him on that day. So in our life, it is happened in the same way. Sometimes, somehow, there will be a peacemaker that will approach to our life, and then they will remind us about our our um, our moving, our decision that we're making in a foolish moving. So God will send someone to remind us, like He sent Abigail to remind King David. And why not we pray? Perhaps we can pray for God that there will be someone who can really remind us, keep us safe from falling into evil. So it might be uh, our wives, or maybe it can be our husband, or even our friends or children or relative, or loving church members that will say something or do something that will keep us from making a foolish move. So why not this morning we thank you to the Lord for each of the people that they will have part in our life, that will keep us from any evil thing, like Abigail that saved David from killing people on that day. So this morning, why not we thankful to the Lord, and also those people that who can really save us. And even though we can write on those names that they really help us in our life with the encouraging word, with the wisdom that they will remind us to uh, relies on God, to depend on God. And this morning, I pray that the Lord will help us and keep us safe from the power of Satan that will lead us from the evil and from the wicked way. So Lord, this morning it is become my prayer that the Lord will help us and save us, and it will become another victory day that we will overcome ourselves. May the Lord bless you.